Welcome, everybody, to the Miami Sports Vibes podcast. We're out here for another week talking Dolphins football. I'm here with my guy, Jacoby. Jacoby, a lot went down today. We cut the
Yeah.
roster to 53 and have a lot more news to talk about. But how's it going, my man?
It's going good, man. I mean, I tweeted about this before, like an hour ago. I got a lot of word. Probably the most frustrating preseason I've ever experienced as a Dolphins fan, and it's made me think back. I'm like, I've never had a preseason where there's so much panic, so much like just nonsense, man. So I'm just excited. It's finally week 0. It's on to the regular season. So I'm just ready for it, man. But a lot to break down today for sure.
No, most definitely, man. I mean, we got news everywhere pretty much. I mean, it started off, me and you we were pretty optimistic on the fact that we thought Jonathan Taylor was going to end up on our Dolphins, and then, as time trickled down, you kind of see the moves being made. You see Cedric Wilson, restructure his deal. That gets you some optimism. That gets you going on. And then later on throughout the day, Adam Schefter reports that even though the Dolphins did make some interesting moves to kind of shed that salary, trying to see if they can meet the numbers here, um, Adam Schefter said no deal, and he's going to be on PUP, and he's going to be out the first 4 games, and no Jonathan Taylor in Miami. What do you think about the news when you heard it first? What was your initial reaction? Once that Schefter tweet went down, and it was pretty much official that the Dolphins and Jonathan Taylor was not going to be a marriage here.
It was pretty. It was like a big shock to me. Even if he's not on the Dolphins, I can't believe Indianapolis held on to him. In my opinion, they really screwed themselves at getting anything for him now. Like who the hell's going to give them that price tag at the trade deadline this season? So that's just it was really hard to understand. Disappointing. Second running back this offseason, top tier running back that the Dolphins miss out on. I don't think Greer's much to blame in this one as much as he was for Dalvin Cook. But I think Taylor just had a ridiculous price tag from the Colts that I'm glad Greer didn't go after. I don't really, like I said in the last episode, you were on the different page of it, but like I said, I wasn't willing to sell everything for Jonathan Taylor, especially when we have Wilkins to get sorted out as well. But I mean, it's disappointing, and who knows what happens at the deadline. But I mean, it was really disappointing. But right now, it's time to just forget about it and just get ready for week 1.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie, I was bummed out pretty much because I expected it. Once, and like I talked about, once I saw that the Cedric Wilson thing went down, where we kind of shed some salary there, I really thought it was gonna happen. Greer makes moves, but one thing I like to know, I feel better knowing that Greer at least tried. Like, okay, he was going all in to try to add Jonathan Taylor, and that I like to see. And now, who's to say, come October at the trade deadline, he might end up as a Miami Dolphin. I mean, we'll wait and see on that. I think the chances are, I'm not falling for it. I'm not going to get excited for it again. And this is crazy.
Never again.
For me, as a Miami fan, this is like, I'm dealing with this on my basketball side of things with Damian Lillard, and now I'm dealing with it with Jonathan Taylor. Like, people want to come to my team, and then my team can't pull it off, and it's frustrating as hell, man. But you talked about Christian Wilkins, man. So Christian Wilkins, the deadline pretty much was set that he cannot sign the extension. They didn't come to an agreement between the Miami Dolphins and himself. Me and you were texting about that. I know you were a bit frustrated. You want to see that deal get done, and rightfully so. The dude is big time. He is commanding a lot of money, but he is a valuable piece to our defense. When you found out that they didn't come to terms, why don't you share with the listeners what your reactions were and how you're feeling now after things have settled a bit?
Well, there was a couple of different reports. One yesterday, when the initial one came out yesterday, I was really discouraged. I kind of felt like maybe they were going to use him maybe in a Taylor trade, or they were going to maybe deal him at some point of the season. But seeing his press conference today really encouraged me. He even said there's nobody that wants to be in Miami more than I do, and that he's not focused on the contract anymore. He's focused on the season. So I'm confident. It sounds like they're right there. It sounds like Greer made some progress and reworking some contracts to get some more money for him. It sounds like they're right there. I am confident they're going to get it done. Maybe not till mid-season or after this season. Who knows? I kind of would prefer it to be after the season. I want them to just focus on this season and the success they're going to aim for. But yeah, it was like a roller coaster. I was really discouraged at first, but then seeing him talk to the media and how much he was hyping up Sieler and pretty much just saying he wants to be here, I got a little more confident.
No, yeah, and that's what I was touching on a little bit with everyone and yourself last week. I was not under the impression that Christian Wilkins was going to sit out at all. I think he was just trying to get himself a bag, rightfully so, well deserved. But I didn't think there was any chance of him missing any time. I mean, just the type of guy he is, I see him trying to make that money, not lose anything with fines. But it's great to hear him say it, and the way he said it, the way he expressed it. It was like, wow, like we love Christian Wilkins for this reason. He's just an upbeat guy. So he says he's going to go all in, and he said he's going to have one of the best seasons of his career coming up. So you love to also hear that, the fact that he's all in, he tried to work something out, and now he's saying on to the next, we'll figure this out in the off season. And that's just a topic for a different day. What the number is going to be, we don't know. I saw reports honestly saying that actually from Marcel, who's a Dolphins beat writer, he said that he was offered actually a good deal, kind of along the lines of a Dexter Lawrence contract, which he got 4 years, $90 million, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And apparently Christian Wilkins kind of turned that down is what I'm hearing, and that he's trying to set a new market for himself. So if that is true, the way we got to look at it as Dolphin fans, man, is let's worry about that in the offseason. If he thinks that he's worth more than $90 million, that means we're in for a big time season for Christian Wilkins. And that's all. That's the only thing we can ask for. So sign me the hell up for that, man.
Absolutely.
But I like the way he embraced Zach Sieler, because sometimes,
Yeah.
your buddy gets paid next to you. You could be a little bit salty about that. But speaking about Zach Sieler, he got a 3-year extension, $20 million guaranteed. What do you think about Zach Sieler and that extension, my man?
I was pretty pumped. I think he deserved that contract really well. He's worked so hard and he's come a long way. So it was really cool to see that deal get worked out. And you could just see in the expression in his face and Wilkins' face, and even other teammates praising him on social media, that this was well earned. So, props to Sieler. I think it was great value too. I think it was a really good extension. 3 years, 38.65. I think it was really good. And I think the Dolphins are going to get a lot out of him. He took a big step last year. Him and Wilkins are the key to stopping that run game, and they were all last year. And I'm confident they're going to do it again this year, man. So, props to Sieler. I'm excited to see what he does this year for sure.
Yeah, I think what's going on, everybody on the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hit the thumbs up button. Support us. Please subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate you guys. Zach Sieler, man, talk about a player to me that's very underrated. I mean, this is a guy who has busted his ass throughout all training camp. I mean, the things I've been hearing from Sieler is that he's absolutely earned this bag. So I'm glad that he has it, and he's a very underrated player, man. He's an underrated player that we desperately need. Defense. Our depth in that position and that side of things is very worrisome. So the fact that we got, a solid player like Zach Sieler, on an extension, that makes me happy right there. Also, another little breaking news. I don't know how much you're gonna put into this, but your boy Noah Igbenogany is traded to the Dallas Cowboys for Kelvin Joseph, who's a cornerback for cornerback swap. What do you think, man? What's your reaction? Are you upset that your boy's gone?
Yeah. What I want to say is having notifications on, waiting for the Jonathan Taylor news. Seeing that notification come up was the worst tease ever. Like, I thought that was the trade right there. But I'm really happy it happened. I think it was just a mutual understanding that this wasn't going to work out here for him. It was definitely probably one of Greer's worst picks in a very long time.
Ain't lying.
Yeah, especially when you passed up on Jonathan Taylor for him. So, I wish Noah the best of luck, and I think a change of scenery will do him well. Not hearing great things, like I don't really know a lot about Kelvin Joseph, but not hearing great things about him either. But you know what, bringing some bringing some guys over Noah. Let me say, I was not ready to watch Noah versus the Chargers on week 1, so I'm so glad I don't got to see that in person. So, but I mean, I wish him the best of luck. I really do. But I mean, I was really ready for it to end.
Bad DB to that to
Yeah, that's all I've
bad
been hearing. Like
DBs.
it's like like some people are telling me that Kelvin's worse than Noah. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't know if I could say that because I feel like every snap I've seen Noah play, he's gotten burnt. So
Hey Zell, you're on to something with that, man. I guess we'll see. We got to judge for ourselves, man. But the shit we seen out of Noah lately, I think anything is an upgrade or at least something worth catching Dolphins fans' eyes. That's for sure. In other news, you see there's a lot of moving parts today, and it's kind of cool because we were kind of thinking that this would probably be a little dead spot.
yeah,
But
sure.
we got a ton of news when it comes to Jonathan Taylor, Christian Wilkins, Noah being traded. That caught me by surprise. And the roster, it was trimmed to 53. So we have our official roster heading into the season. Any initial thoughts? Were there anything that surprised you off the rip when you saw that 53?
Yeah, for sure. Chosen Anderson and Trill Williams. Those were the two that surprised me the most, especially I didn't understand. I can understand the Chosen Anderson one, but Trill Williams, I just don't understand with this team's injuries. Like I would have kept as much depth as I could for cornerbacks and all the secondary pretty much. So that one was a big shock to me. But seeing the 53-man roster now, I definitely have my concerns, but I'm going to get into that later in this episode. But it was those two definitely stood out the most for me. I hope Trill gets at least onto the practice squad, finds his way back into this team somehow. I was really excited to see him come back from that injury, but I mean, it's a business and, you just got to work for it, but I'm confident he can find his way back for sure.
Would you have gone with Robbie Chosen over River Craycraft if you had to make that decision?
I think I would. I definitely because of the experience there, and Chosen was having a great camp too as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Chosen adds some extreme length and more opportunities for the offense. Like you got Tua, you got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, two of the fastest guys. Not a lot of height on those guys, but you had a tall weapon to that offense too. I really liked that potential. But it is what it is. I think they kept Barrios. They kept Barrios, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So like I like that. So we'll definitely see how it works out. But I'm more concerned about the depth on the defensive side than the offensive side for sure.
Yeah. Chosen was not chosen to be on the team. I was honestly surprised that Chosen got let go, and the reason I say that is because River Craycraft to me, you kind of there's a lot of similarities there with Braxton Berrios and Craycraft. If you're gonna go with Berrios, you don't need a Craycraft on your team, man. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of the side of Chosen having a good camp for one, and the fact that Waddle, as great as he is, sometimes he gets banged up. Sometimes a little injury happens here and there, and stuff like that. I would feel more comfortable if Waddle was missing a game, that Robbie Chosen could step up in his absence in that role because of his speed, because of his deep threat ability that he's shown throughout his career. I like having that guy as a plug and play guy. I think, that's why I would have kept him over River Craycraft. But I guess, like Nando says, he wasn't chosen to be on this team. And Zell, my guys faced Noah week 1. Zell is a Giants fan, so it looks like he's gonna have a good time. Tell Daniel Jones to throw Noah's way all the time.
Throw him every time.
Throw to him everevery time, and you'll be excied. Another guy.
Watch Noah get like 5 interceptions through the first 10 weeks of the season or some shit.
Man, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I will be pissed. One that caught me by surprise outside of Chosen though and Trill was Malik Reed. I think he is a player that provides some depth in a position group that I feel is terrible. And that's our linebacking unit. Like nobody in our linebacking unit. I'm not comfortable with the depth there. I need to see more from Baker. I like Van Ginkel. I like David Long, but I just, I need more guys that I could plug and play. And when you get rid of a Malik Reed, I just feel like that it takes a toll on it. And
Yes. Yeah.
Elijah Higgins as well, a tight end room that I feel like is kind of eh. And the fact that we drafted that guy, I thought that he would have a role on this team. So
Mhm.
it's not big surprises where I'm not like, oh my God, this happened, but just, some things that I took note of. Um, Giannis asks, who's the RB1? Who would you who would you
It's
give
gotta
that
be
to?
it's gotta be Mostert, huh? I don't see anyone else taking it. Um, I think at one point we'll see A Chain probably splitting the carries with Mostert. Wilson's been like we're getting barely any updates on him. He's been banged up all preseason. So I hope A Chain will be the leading back at least halfway through the season, but it's got to be Mostert. And to be honest with you, man, I don't know how I feel about it.
Mm, yeah,
I'm just honest with you, man. Mostert had a solid season. I'll give him that. I'll give him that to him last year. But I mean, he couldn't show up when it mattered most, and that was the postseason. And he had a very slow start to the season last year, and a couple of the big games he had was against like not the best teams against the run either. So he had that big game against Buffalo, but the coaching staff didn't utilize it better. So I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about this whole running back group. I also don't understand how a lot of people have so much confidence in this running back room. That's just me, though. That's just
yeah,
me, though. People look at the people. There's literally fans out there that look at this running back room and said it's pretty solid. I'm like, I just don't see it.
yeah. I don't know. Well, what would you lean towards more of a like if you had to choose, if you were the coach, you were the coordinator, would you give more touches to Mostert or will you make this like a 50-50 with Wilson if Wilson is healthy? Not counting A Chain because just
Yeah.
A Chain's gonna slowly. We're expecting him to slowly kind of get up there. But for the off the rip, let's say Wilson is healthy, Mostert is healthy. What are you doing with this?
I think you got to do 50-50. You give Mostert an extreme workload, he's going to be injured by week 3. So, I mean,
That's true.
that's just the way I see it on there. And it's just scary because one injury to this running back group, and it's going to be completely crippled. So, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the offense to just rely on the passing game, and that's what's going to make defenses easier to prey on us. So, I don't know. I hope they got a plan, man. I hope they got a plan, but I'm more excited for the passing game, that's for sure. So,
Yeah, for sure. We got to throw in the run there, though. We have
yeah,
to. We have
we
to.
have to.
Uh,
Yeah, you have to. And last year proved it too.
mm-hmm. Handel says, "What's up with the tight ends? Are they just blockers?" Honestly, it seems like that's the approach we're
Yeah.
going in. I mean, we have 2 tight ends on the roster, Julian Hill and Durham Smythe. That those are our 2 tight ends that made
The
the
only one that's
53.
going to really receive would be Smythe. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
and more so, these two are blockers. So I guess Mike McDaniel has a plan, and we'll wait and see how
And who
how,
knows?
how
Smythe
that
was
goes.
always the better blocker out of our tight end group last year
He
too. So
he was.
maybe that's going to help this run game too a little bit. So, we'll see. I'm not as concerned as tight end as a lot of people are, but I mean, because I think we have enough threats already. I would love a big blocking presence out of the tight ends for sure.
Yeah, no, that for sure. And I do think our receivers are nice outside of, everybody just talks about our big two, which is rightfully
Mhm,
so. But I like Barrios, honestly, and I think
mhm.
Barrios can contribute fairly nicely with Tua, to be
Yep,
honest. So we've seen
absolutely.
flashes in the preseason. Speaking of the preseason is now wrapped up. It feels like it was a long time ago that this game was played, but it was only a couple days ago. We picked up the loss, even though the loss doesn't matter, 31-18. But we saw a little bit of Tua on the preseason finale. So I want to hear your take on what did you take away from that finale, if anything? It was a small sample size, but we did see Tua, so we got to touch on it just a little bit.
Yeah, Tua looked really good. Tua looked comfortable. I wasn't really, I didn't want Tua to play this game if I'm honest with you.
Right.
But same thing I said last year, man. He had a couple of hits and he just did a complete tumble roll. He looks like he's ready to get out there, man, and he's ready to protect himself. So I mean, I'm excited to see that. But I mean, like I said, man, this was just the most frustrating preseason ever, dude. Like after every play, it seemed like there's just sheer and utter panic. And like I've never had a preseason like that. And the media would get on the Dolphins too. I'm just like, man, like I've never seen this before. But I'm gonna say my biggest takeaway is the lack of depth on defense, man. Like a lot
Mhm.
of the starters weren't playing, and that defense did not look good at all. So that just really worries me about this defense's ability to stay healthy. And like even Vic Fangio had a clip, I think it was last week or the week before, where he even said there's spots on this defense where we need to find talent. And if you're hearing
Yep.
that from Vic Fangio, that's got to
Mhm.
be a little concerning. So hopefully he was just talking about Noah. But I mean, just that, I mean, that's concerning to me. I mean, the defense is already crippled enough, but I hope with a proper scheme, because I doubt they were really scheming in the preseason, like
Yeah.
against these teams. Hopefully, with a proper scheme and a game plan, it will look a lot better. But the lack of depth is my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, no, honestly, this probably was the weirdest preseason I think I've ever
Mm-hmm.
witnessed and been a part of. Definitely since I've started my podcast, and this is my third one. So this is my third Dolphin season since I started, and this one was just weird, man. I mean,
It was.
you usually see a nice little hyped up QB, everybody gasses up, a hyped up running back that people gas up.
Yep.
You saw it with in prior years with Jared Dokes. You saw it in prior years with Reed Sinnett,
Yep.
Skylar
Skylar
Thompson
Thompson last year. Yeah.
yeah, and this year was just the most blah preseason ever, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Like there was nothing that really caught my eye. Skylar Thompson had a terrible preseason, but people freaking out about that. The only thing that I can say that I liked that I saw was probably the run game. I thought the run game,
Yeah.
seeing the run game was nice to see. Ahmed out there showing flashes, Gaskin showing flashes, even though he got cut. But I like the fact that you did see some sort of a run game there, because that's obviously something that we were ranked 31st in the NFL last year. So that gives me some optimism going forward. That rookie, Chris Brooks, I mean, he runs hard, man. He runs hard. He was fun to
Mm-hmm.
see,
Yeah,
and
he was.
he ended up making the team. So maybe a 4th and 1 here and there. Maybe we'll see some of him there. I thought that was cool. Tua out there, that quick first play of the game, that little quick pass to Tyreek Hill, and then he
Yeah.
was out for like 30 something yards. That was very nice to see.
Yeah, that was a great sight to see after a rough preseason. That's for sure.
For sure, for sure. But the defense, that, like you said, man,
Yeah.
just the depth in that group it's worrisome, and
Mm.
you saw Calvin Ridley freaking cook Noah.
Pushed
But
off though.
but I mean, listen, Noah got an extra defender there with the sideline, and he still
Yeah.
couldn't even get the stop.
Yeah.
Man.
You're right.
Shout out to Calvin Ridley, who's on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what Fangio said, that kind of worried me. He's a very honest guy, which I love. I like that, because you're kind of challenging your players and you're calling your players out. If you don't want Fangio to talk shit to the media, then back it up. And
Mm-hmm.
I freaking like that.
I do remember one quote from Fangio where he said he's not sure if he can trust Cam Smith yet, and you can definitely see why. He took a terrible approach to this route and just got completely burnt. So I mean, maybe it's stuff like flashes like that where he's doesn't really trust Cam Smith yet. But I mean, he's a rookie. He's going to learn real quick, but we're going to need Cam Smith. We're going to need him for half the season at least. So, I mean, he better get his crap together for sure. So,
yeah, no, most definitely.
yeah.
Nando says, Nando, he had Barrios over there in the Jets, so he knows drops passes in the end zone. Well, hopefully he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, Trent Sherfield does too. Thank God he's with Buffalo now.
Hey, here's a good question from Nando, man. Where does the Dolphins defense rank in the AFC in your opinion? Jacoby, you go first.
I'm gonna say, it's tough for me to rank them because of what they did last year and what we haven't seen yet. But with the addition to with David Long, Deshaun Elliott, Vic Fangio, I'm gonna put them second. I'm gonna put them over Buffalo. Buffalo lost some key defenders this year. Their defense wasn't really great last year either. They, and granted they were beat up a little bit. They're going to be without Von Miller for a quarter of the season too.
Mm.
So, I'm going to put them over Buffalo right now. I think New York has the best defense right now. New York's defense scares the crap out of me in a way. So that secondary it's really nice, but I'm going to put them second. I think that's fair enough to say due to how bad they were last year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely. If I had to, rank the defensive teams in the AFC, I'd probably go with the Jets. I'd probably go with the Jets number one. I mean, they've shown they could talk shit and back it up on the defensive end. So I have to give credit as much as it
They're going to
pains
be
me to
they're
say
going to be they're going to be some major talkers this year. The
it.
Jets are going to play mind games all year long. So,
The thing,
I mean,
the,
that's
the defense has a swagger to them too. That's
they
that's
do.
that's
They
one
do.
thing that I like about it. When the Jets, like, if the Jets come over here talking shit about their offense, I'm kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
But when their defense has, the thing about their defense is that they've shown me that they could back it up. I mean,
Yeah.
they went to Lambeau Field and fucking won a game out there. Like they've
They beat Buffalo last year too, and I think they limited Buffalo to like, what was it, 7 or 10 points?
The defense is no joke, man.
Yeah.
But where does the Dolphins rank in my opinion? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing a couple teams. I'm thinking Buffalo. I'm thinking Jets. Patriots defense is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But I would put the Dolphins top 3. I wouldn't put the Dolphins defense over the Jets though. But I'm with you, man. Just the addition of Fangio itself, I think it elevates everyone's game an extra level, and I think you get a better production from Bradley Chubb because of his familiarity with Fangio in the past. You think about Jalen Phillips taking another leap, Christian Wilkins saying that he's going to have a big season. You think of Javon Holland taking another leap himself.
Those guys are going to have to take leaps.
Yeah.
To cover for the lack of depth they have on this defense too. Like those guys are gonna have to keep this defense afloat. And it just sucks without Ramsey, dude. It's just it's brutal, man.
It's a big one.
Bounce back year from X, and I think we'll be pretty good.
Yeah, so. and that's top 15. Shit, that's hopefully not. They got to be better than that.
They gotta.
And yeah. Come on, man. Come on. Don't do that. Can't sleep on the Pats defense. I agree, man. I agree. And this is when you're just starting to do too much here. This is,
dude, Sauce was holding in the last game too. Like, it's ridiculous, man. It's clear and obvious. And then he goes and flexes about it. I'm like, bro.
Honestly, though, I think when you talk about the leaps that those players are going to take, I think they're going to be a really good defense. Only thing that worries me is, like I said, the linebackers, man. To be honest, the linebackers, I think the DBs are going to they're going to elevate their game. I think they're going to get better with Fangio's system. And then it's just the linebackers. That's what just worries
I'm going to give the linebackers just a little bit of hesitation before I judge them a little too further. I mean, I feel like, a lot of things just went wrong with this group last year. I just think with the proper DC and properly schemed, and the addition of David Long, I'm confident that this linebacker group can make a bounce back this year. But I'm not going to give them full credit until I see it. But I see where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, let's see. Listen, my eye is on all those linebackers, bro. Every game, and you're going to week 1, so I need you to really scout that up, man. I really do.
I will, dude. Trust me.
But now that the preseason is behind us, man, let's talk a little bit about the regular season here. So Now with all that's behind us, your confidence level in this team with preseason behind us, going into week 1 into the regular season, what are you most confident about? Like, what leads you to say, like, okay, I believe in my boys here?
Yeah, I think this offense is it's really hard to stop. And I think that's what's going to carry us until our defense gets healthier. The passing game, I feel like, is going to be just as effective as it was last year, maybe even harder to defend now that we have like a true wide receiver 3. So, we're going to see real quick, but I think this passing game is going to be, if not even more dangerous than last year. I'm excited for it. Got a healthy Tua, more durable Tua, and I'm ready to see it. But going into week one, I think the offense will have a big game. It's gonna be a shootout. I don't see it being a blowout. It's gonna be close, but I still have Dolphins winning that game, like I said. So that's where my confidence level is. And if the offense is not firing on all cylinders early in the season, we're gonna have some issues. So they got to hit the ground running like they did in the first 3 weeks last year. So
the thing I'm confident I would have to say is the passing game, man. It's just the fact that you have Tua out there, the fact that Tua is back from his, all the concussions and all that. He seems like he's in good spirits. He seemed like he learned a couple of things. And Tyreek Hill just turning it up a notch, man. You've seen little glimpses with these plays here. You saw the play against Jacksonville. You just know, and I have a feeling that we're in for a huge Tyreek Hill season. He already called that he wants 2,000 yards, man. And he's the type of guy that doesn't back down from the shit that he talks. Man.
Absolutely. No, I need it. I need to see it.
so my confidence level, man, and then Jalen Waddle also, I forgot to say, he says he's good to go. Something that we already kind of knew, but he officially said he's good to go week one. I know you're freaking excited. You were waiting on that.
Oh, absolutely.
So, hey, listen,
but like I said, like with the additions of Berrios and, we still got Cedric out there. Now that we have a true wide receiver 3, if one of those guys do get banged up, I feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
So there we go.
As a comma as well, man. Maybe he had a nice little preseason. You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He can pop. He can pop. All right. How about biggest concern heading into the season after everything that you saw over preseason? What's your biggest concern?
Pretty self-explanatory, man. And I'm sure it's everybody's concern for it's just injuries. This team does not catch a break whatsoever. They haven't caught a break in years. Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest concern. Is this team going to be durable enough for the long way, man? We'll definitely see how it happens. I'm confident that if they do start getting banged up or things are not working out, that Greer will make some sort of trade happen before the deadline to solidify it and get it back rolling. But injuries scares the crap out of me. Like half of the inactives are injured. Like Teron Armstead's injured, and Waddle's been hurt all preseason. Granted, he's good to go, but that doesn't worry you. What does? That's just my biggest concern. You would say the defense doesn't concern you. Yeah, I have my concerns, but I think they're gonna. Like I said, I'm not gonna jump to conclusions too much like everyone else is this preseason. I'm gonna trust Fangio. I'm gonna let him do his thing. I'm not going to panic on that just yet. I'm excited for this defense, and I'm excited for this. I don't think there's any reason to not be excited for this team. Like a lot of people are. Like a lot of people are worried right now. So just hold up.
Yeah,
have some fun. Enjoy it. Yeah,
that's one thing people got to do. They just have to wait and see to see how it goes, because honestly, so many people just put too much stock in what happens in the preseason, and they get a little carried away, which I understand. I don't want to tell fans how to fan, but
every team's gonna have their injuries. Buffalo's gonna be without their best defender for the first 4 to 5 weeks. We just got to deal with it. Just enjoy the season, but I mean the durability is a concern, but other than that, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see what this team does.
No, I'm freaking excited. I'm excited. Are you are you falling for this here?
Yeah, I saw. No, that was a fake Schefter post. It got me too, man.
Really?
It was a fake Schefter post. It had his profile picture. I saw it this morning. I was like, oh, there it is. And it got me. I almost sent it to you too. and then my cousin, who's a big Dolphins fan, he texts me like an hour later. He's like Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, did it happen? He sends me the screenshot of the same tweet. I was like, oh fuck, man. Like, you got you too. So yeah.
I thankfully I didn't check any Twitter throughout the day. I was kind of just I was hoping that after I get out of work that I was just gonna get surprised by Jonathan.
Yeah.
But I probably would have fell for that too. Damn, that sucks, man.
I hate Twitter now, man. It's just full of fakes, bro. It sucks.
Especially on deadlines, bro, or trade deadlines. Even NBA too, you see fake Woj reports and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so annoying.
That is hilarious, man. One thing I want to do right here, as we're in the 35-minute mark, before we wrap up this show, we talked about it. We want to do some season awards. So the Miami
Predictions.
Dolphins season, we're gonna give our team MVP, our team offensive player of the year, and our team defensive player of the year. And
Most improved player too. Give that.
yes, and most improved player. So how should we do this? How should we do this, Jacoby? What should we go first?
I say we start with like the least important ones. We'll save MVP for last, but I want to give my predictions of who's going to be like the ones who come up clutch for this team for sure, because I want people to remember this when they actually win these awards.
Yeah, right. All right. So so what do you want to go? Most improved first?
Yeah, let's do most improved.
All right.
Most
improved. Start us off.
Most improved. I'm giving it to Jerome Baker. Jerome Baker had a very sluggish year last year. Baker is another one of those Christian Wilkins guys with his energy and fire. He's a really fire starter on that defense, and I have so much confidence that Fangio is going to bring him back into his old form and scheme him properly to be as effective as possible. I love Jerome Baker. I've loved that pick since the start in 2020, 2019, 2020. That guy was just such a beast. It was still as pretty good in 21, and then it just really scratched your head on what happened last year to him. But he's going to be my most improved player. I love Jerome. I can't wait to see it.
Damn. Okay. Listen, that excites me, man. You hear
That's
me?
why I told you. That's why I told you. You're going to like what I have for most improved.
After all the shit that I've been talking about this linebacking group, I will absolutely take a most improved season for Jerome freaking Baker, man.
Absolutely.
And he's got the talent to do so, man. He's a speedy linebacker. He knows the system. Like he's been a part of this. He's been a part of different systems.
He's going to have a big opportunity here because he's the veteran of that group. He's going to have a chance to step up and lead by example, and I think he's going to do it for sure.
No, for sure. I freaking hope so, man. My most improved player is actually I kind of you take a guess of who I'm going to pick first?
You want me to take a guess?
I want you to take a guess.
I'm going to say Xavier Howard.
No, it's not Xavier Howard.
No, not Xavier Howard.
No, but I think that's a good choice, though. I think that's a very, very, very good choice because
it was between him and Jerome for me last year. The reason why I leaned towards more Jerome was because X was just beat up last year. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he comes in this year healthy, fresh. He's just going to be his old self. But Jerome just, even without injury, just something was off last year. So I think he's gonna break out of that shell. So for sure. Let's hear your guy.
No, I think Xavier's is a good guess though, because I think just having Fangio in itself, he's probably gonna play more zone and it's gonna put Xavier in better spots. But the thing that kind of drew me away was I was gonna go Xavier, but with the Ramsey news, I felt more confident in Xavier being with Ramsey. Because he would just take the load off him. But I think they're going to ask more from X. And I think that's going to, I have to see how it goes. I'm not asking as well. My most improved player is going to be Bradley Chubb.
Yep, I saw that.
It shouldn't be.
When after I said X, I'm like, oh wait, no, he was talking about Bradley Chubb last week. I was like,
Bradley Chubb is my guy. Like I said, for reasons that I said on the show, he's a guy who knows Fangio very well. Last time he played under Fangio, he made the Pro Bowl. He is a guy that we traded and we gave up a lot for. We also paid him a lot of money. This is a guy that's due. He had a bad break when he came to our team halfway through the year last year, banged up with a couple injuries, still played through it, had a nice playoff game, made a big, big play that I have not forgot about in the playoffs. And I think he is set. He is set. He hears the chatter. What better? It's all leaning in his direction. All the adversity. He hears the noise, and I think he's going to come out and have a magnificent season, man. I'm thinking minimum 12 sacks, man. And I think the dude is capable of getting 15. I kid you not. Like
he better with that money we're paying him.
Listen, Bradley Chubb is a beast. I'm saying minimum 12 sacks, and that is a big ass number that we haven't seen in a Dolphins uniform in quite some time.
No, so I like it. Yeah,
Bradley Chubb, most improved. You heard it here first. So next, let's go with defensive player of the year.
So my pick is going to kind of contradict your pick because I want you guys can record this if you want, play it back to me, because not only do I think he's going to be the Dolphins defensive player of the year, this is going to be my guy for the league's defensive player of the year. Give me Jalen Phillips.
Woo!
I love year 3 jumps, and I think Jalen Phillips is going to have a monster season on this defense. He's been killing it all camp. He showed out completely against enjoying practices against the Texans. I think this guy is a freaking monster. You just look at him and you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a freaking beast. And like I said, dude, I'm a big fan of year 3 jumps. This is it right here. Jalen Phillips, defensive player of the year in the league. Put that on. I'll bet on it right now. I'll go to Nevada right now and bet on it.
Let's go. I like it, man. Jalen Phillips, bro. I mean, the dude is solid, man. He looks like a beast. He looks like he's just ready to blossom. You've seen he's already produced, but the thing about Phillips lately is that he kind of waits a little bit and then he kicks up. That's what happened in the last 2 years, right? He waits a little bit and then he ends up with 8 sacks throughout the season at the end of the season. So you can see it's right there. Now you have Fangio to kind of get him out of that shell. Man,
the thing about Phillips too, man, it's just like I was watching a lot of highlights and a lot of like those condensed games on NFL Network, and I see him like I feel like if he's just a second quicker on a lot of those snaps, he would have had at least like 5 or 6 more sacks last year, man. He had 7 sacks last year, and I think I watched there was like 4 condensed games I watched, and he missed a sack by a second or 2, man. Just get that timing a little right. Yep. He's going to be right up there, man. Just give it to me for Jalen Phillips. I'm ready to see it.
Yeah, I think it's all set up for him as well, man. I think Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, I think those two are going to have tremendous seasons.
No, don't get me wrong. If Chubb has a better season than Phillips, I'm fine with it. No. Phillips is my guy. If you even go back to the first pod I ever did with you, like after the 20, it was after the draft. I was so stoked about the Phillips pick. I'm like, this guy is going to be a problem, and I'm ready for it. So,
yeah, he's
Phillips has my vote for sure.
I want to see. Listen, these two together, give me 30 sacks combined.
Yes,
give me 30 combined. I don't care who gets more. Give me 30 in there. We need it. My defensive player of the year is I was gonna pick Phillips, but I don't want to go with the same answer that you gave. So I'm gonna pivot away from that, and I'm gonna go with the man that wants to get paid and is gonna make a statement this year, and that is Christian freaking Wilkins. I think Christian Wilkins is motivated as hell. Obviously, he wants a bag. He wants to set the market. You've heard the reports today. You heard him talk today. He has every motivation that you could possibly ask for on his side to go off and have a great year. Not only does he want the money, but he said it on the record that he's going to have a great season. And
best season of his career.
He's got to back it up, and I think he is going to do so. Now, Christian Wilkins is a guy that he doesn't really get sacks. You don't see that sack number crazy like Ndamukong Suh's was, but he really
that's why a lot of D linemen don't get talked about now, because that sacks number's not up there. But
exactly. But when you watch
Christian Wilkins, it's a whole different story.
Tell him, man. It's a whole different story. I mean, constantly putting pressure, stopping the run, and he's right there and nearly every single down, man. Every single down. And I think this is going to be the year where he does pick up a couple sacks. He is going to get that sack number up. I wouldn't. There's no doubt in my mind. So defensive player of the year for the Miami Dolphins will be Christian Phillips. I got Christian Wilkins, and most improved you got Jerome Baker, and I have Bradley Chubb. Now, what award should we do next? Are we going to MVP right now, or should we do another one?
It's up to you, man. We're at the 45-minute mark. We can just go to MVP if you want.
How about most? All right, player that you want to succeed the most, not counting
succeed the most.
Yeah, like, that hasn't, but you want to see them kind of get up to par and without Tua, not counting Tua.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say Javon Holland, because Javon Holland, he does get his praise, but I feel like he's just right there from actually being recognized as one of the top safeties in the league. Javon Holland's a beast, man, and I want him to get the more recognition he deserves. He's definitely one of the most underrated players on this team, in my opinion. I don't see him talked about enough. I think he does a tremendous job on the defensive end. And he only had 2 interceptions last year, and I think he can get a few more this year for sure. And he's going to be carrying a workload because our depth at safety sucks. So watch him make a statement. I'll give that to Javon. I love Javon.
Okay, I like that. I would love to see that. A player that I want to see just really have a nice season and blossom. I want Cedric Wilson, bro.
Okay.
I really do, man. I just feel like
took a pay cut for us too.
Took a pay cut for us, man. He's getting shitted on by the fan base. We traded for him. Mike McDaniel wanted him specifically. Greer said, I got you. I'm going to go get him. And goddamn, man, for the love of God, can Cedric Wilson just have a nice freaking season?
I know, dude. I mean, just get him involved at least. Like, because when he was involved, he was pretty effective. Like I'll give him that for sure. In the wild card game, he had that big punt return and had a few good crucial catches. So I mean, just get him involved, see what he can do.
Man. Please, Cedric Wilson, do something. All right. So last but not least, our last award, team MVP for the Miami Dolphins this year. Jacoby, who is it?
I mean, you can argue with 2 players on this one. Maybe one will take offensive player of the year, but it has to be Tua. Tua has to be this team's MVP if they want to get where they want to be. This team rides or dies with Tua. So I don't think you can really, and we saw it last year, I don't think Tua could have really embodied the definition of an MVP for a team than he did last year. Team won 1 game without him, and they barely scraped by on 3 Jason Sanders field goals. So we'll see, but that's going to be the team MVP. If this team's going to be successful, he will be the MVP of the team.
Okay. I like it. I think he's the most important for sure. Obviously, and that showed it last year. I mean, we can't win a game even when we do have our other players out there without Tua. So I think he's absolutely the most valuable player. I would have to agree with you, but let me just zig the other way here. Just because, let's not give the same answer. And I was thinking about this, though. I was thinking about it because I just feel like he's going to have a spectacular season. This is a player who didn't make the Pro Bowl last year and well should have. Somehow he didn't. Yeah. I know Waddle's going to have a hell of a year, but I got to take the cheetah, man. I'll
give him offensive player of the year. Tyreek Hill for sure. But
most valuable, but I'm agreeing with you. Most valuable, definitely Tua, because I think it's proven.
Yeah.
Like if Tua goes down, Skyler's not doing it even when you have Tyreek and Waddle. We've seen that story before. Mike White didn't show me anything in the preseason that leads me to believe that he can do anything with them.
Yep.
So I think obviously the most valuable player to this Dolphins team is obviously Tua. We saw the 8-3 last year with him, winning 1 game without him. We can't lose him, but just for the sake, since you picked him, I'm going to go with the second most valuable player, and it's obviously Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, the guy who talks shit, backs it up, who said he's going to get 2,000 yards, almost got it last year. This guy, just the things that he does, not only on the field, but off the field, I think it made when you talk about the swagger that he's, he just talks. Everybody feels that. And I feel like a lot of Tua's success has to do with Tyreek Hill's the confidence that he instills in him by just the way he hypes him up to the media, hypes him up on his podcast, talks about it, just that energy. I think that, a lot of people gave credit to Mike McDaniel for Tua's confidence, but I think Tyreek Hill had a big say in that. And Tyreek Hill is going to be my MVP, man. So
okay,
we're in for a pretty
we'll come back to this at the end of the season, I guarantee you.
Yeah, for sure, man. So next week is officially week 1, right?
Week 1. Yeah.
That's it, man. The moment we've been waiting for. So next week
last
on
show
Tuesday,
before I see this team in person.
Yep. NFL season is pretty much here. By the time we see you guys next week, it is officially week 1 for the NFL season.
Shoot your predictions to us, guys. Let us know. We won't, even for other NFL games. We'll probably be talking about those next week too, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm freaking excited. Jacoby's going to be at week 1, so he'll have plenty of insight on this game. So we're going to preview our Chargers matchup next week and get into other NFL topics. Obviously, the first game of the season is going to be the Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be a good one. We're going to touch on that.
Yes, sir.
And plenty of other things, man. It's been a hell of a ride, but preseason is finally behind us. Once again, I want to thank everybody for pulling up to the show. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for the support as always. And Jacoby, any last words before we end this preseason edition of our show?
Nah, man, I'm ready. Just bring it on. That's all I gotta say. Here's to a healthy week for the Dolphins. No injuries, just positive vibes, and let's beat LA for sure.
Oh man, beat LA. Jacoby, you got a question here for you.
I'm sitting. Let me actually confirm that for you, because I want Fins fans to come check me out. I'm sitting section 235 at SoFi, row 7. It's pretty much corner end zone along the Dolphins sideline. So I'll be in row 7. Come hit me up. I'd love to meet some of you guys, but that's where I'll be.
No, Jacoby, that is not what he's saying. He's saying, where are you? So sunny in your background.
What the? Did I read that so wrong? Oh my gosh! What the hell, dude?
Come on!
What the? I don't know. I saw where you sitting. I don't know. I don't know why I read that so wrong. I'm so sorry.
Tell them where you're at, damn it.
Yeah, I'm in California, Stockton, California right now, but I actually live in Manteca, so I'm in Stockton right now, the most dangerous city in the world. But oh my god, I can't believe an epic brain fart right now. I'm just so ready for the game, I guess, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, Nando says you're focused on week 1.
Yeah, that's how focused I do. I've been looking at the pictures of my seats for months. Like, I'm so ready, dude. Like, oh
hey,
my
man.
gosh. Just mute me next time.
Man, it is all good. Thank you guys once again for
high
tuning
time
in.
for Jacoby, I guess. Jesus Christ.
I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for showing out. Go Dolphins.